1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't lived the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move. Whatever click you choose, you better
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a pro violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing on that intro, and if you want to get that song, hit me up on my email, 16tolifemusic@gmail.com, and I will tell you how to go about it. Now, let's get right into today's video, man. So, this stuff is crazy, man. You know, and lately I've been busy with a few things. You know, I had a if you guys have been keeping current with my channel, I had a good friend of mine pass away in prison, in Montana prison. And so, you know, we was trying to get all that stuff situated, you know, try to help out as much as possible. We just had a celebration for him at the park Saturday. And so, you know, I've been not necessarily tapping in with YouTube right now. I'm gonna be the first to say that I did not follow the Carmelo Anthony trial whatsoever, right? I saw little bits and pieces just scrolling through YouTube, checking things out, right? But I did not see it at all, right? But so as of late, I'm just coming across the comments that his father, the father of Austin Metcalf made, right? And man, this stuff is crazy right now. Initially, I'm gonna keep it 100, right? I was impressed at the statements that he made initially. You know, he seemed very peaceful and he seemed very forgiving, right? And then later on, all this stuff comes out where he's making all these racist comments, right? Now, listen, in my opinion, he definitely has a right to be angry, to be upset, to be hurt, to grieve, so on and so forth, right? But my thing is this, man. Somehow, when things happen, if a person who is black happens to be the accused, white people tend to always make things racial. And it's crazy that when we see these stories about these shootings at these mosques and Walmarts, these kids shooting up schools and stuff, you don't get the same type of energy in those comments by white people for those dudes, man. Let's go back to one of my favorite cases, Dylan Roof, the white dude who went and shot the church up, right? Killed a lot of black people in that church. It is still crazy to me that the officers bought that dude Burger King after he had went and shot up a church, I believe, and killed 9 people who was praying in church. You cannot come on this thing and tell me, man, that if a black dude had went and shot a white church up, they would have brought that dude Burger King. Now, there's different stories out there. Some say they stopped and got him Burger King. Other people say they brought him Burger King while he was there at the station. But we know 100%, man, if that was a black dude, they would have not brought him any Burger King. However it was, he got it right. And so a lot of people don't understand, man. You know, you guys try to dismiss the feelings of black people, man. Historically, we have been getting treated horrendous by the judicial system, right? So when you have situations like this come out, it's to the point where you have many black people who cannot set their anger aside, and rightfully so, due to the treatment. We do not receive fair treatment. People want to cry and say, oh, blacks cry too much. Man, it is what it is. Let's be fair and let's look at history, man. We have been dogged, humiliated, messed over by the judicial system, so we no longer trust it. We don't believe in it. And anytime an individual who is black is caught up in the system, whether he is the accuser or whether he is the victim, it seems he gets an unfair trial. And that's what it's come down to, right? So I'm hearing now that, like I said, man, the father of Austin Metcalf, he just turned this into a lot of racial stuff at one point, man. I mean, I can't believe it. He called the dude the watermelon felon, and he made a lot of racial, statements. And I'm gonna show you guys a few right now. I saw where he called Charleston White pretty much the N-word. Now, I know Charleston White has said a lot of extremely inflammatory things about him initially, right? But that's what Charleston does. But my thing is, I can understand the dad being upset, right? But how he made it a racial situation, I cannot understand, man. So let me show you guys some of the stuff that he said now.
You're the only one in your family without a damn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture. You people hang your hat on the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Let me make one up. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike you? And now you want to talk shit? Oh, I've been so oppressed. You couldn't even vote 1960. Look how far you've come. Look at all the free shit we give you. You're not oppressed. You're fucking entitled. The display of adults on the internet. If your children saw how you acted, would you be proud? Or is that what you teach them? Do you teach them that racism is okay? Do you teach them? Do you program your kids to hate? Oh, you've got more melanin than me. Ooh, so you get more in privileges, more entitlement? Because 400 years ago, someone actually sold you to us, and we took you over here and put you to work. And then we had a civil war to free your ass. And now you want to talk shit? Oh, I've been so oppressed. You couldn't even vote 1960. Look how far you've come. Look at all the free shit we give you. And normally, I don't normally attack people like this, but I have been cooped up and caged up in this anger, and this is something I'm trying to work on. I need to develop it and funnel it into a more constructive way. But tonight is the one time I'm going to allow myself, it's okay. Tonight I'm going to allow myself to say what I really want to say. Because most of the time I don't say what I want to say, because it's not correct. Just because you think something doesn't mean you believe it. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong. Doesn't make it a fact. Oh, there was no black jurors. You know why? Because you can't be unbiased, you dumb shit. If you answer the question, I can't send a black man to jail because he's black, you're not getting on the jury. You're so unintelligent, you can't even fill out a form correctly. You don't even know who your daddy is because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore.
And so this video, right, is not even about the racial stuff that dude said. You know, that dude said a whole lot of crazy stuff where you make it extremely difficult for the black people who may have were sympathetic towards your situation to have sympathy and empathy after the things that you said, right? Because like I said, once again, when a white person does something to a black person, it's that. If a black person does something to a white person, it is often made about race. Like I alluded to earlier, when we see all these school shootings, we just saw a school shooting not too long ago. I believe it was in Florida State University. The shooter of the school, his parents was involved in some type of law enforcement. I don't know if his stepdad or stepmom was a sheriff or something like that. But when you read through those comments are extremely and entirely different from when you read through the comments of when a black person is accused of doing something, man. And this stuff is just horrendous, right? Let's keep it 100, right? I just happened to go researching, had Chat GPT compile a quick list of 100 black men who were killed by the police, and basically nothing happened. Either the white officers was not even charged, or they were convicted, and in a few rare cases the charges was reduced and they were sentenced to an extremely small amount of jail time. I don't care what nobody says, right? You let something like this continuously, historically happen to your people for hundreds of years and years, you are going to feel some type of way, man. It's crazy how when people in the comments say that, I don't understand how black people get so upset when they're called the N-word, so on and so forth. It's just a word, right? In my opinion, those small percentage of people who would not get upset when someone called them a disrespectful word are just people who already know by nature they are not fighters, right? And you have individuals, male or female, who are just against violence. Some of them know that fighting is not their thing, and they will not fight regardless of anything you do. You can spit on them. You can throw feces on them. They're not going to fight. But the majority of population that talks that stuff, oh, I don't see how you guys are offended by a word. You get in their face, you call a mama something they don't like, you call their kid or something that they don't like, suddenly they're offended by a word. So miss me with that bullshit. Miss me with that motherfucking bullshit, and me by being a YouTube content creator, having a YouTube channel, I have to be extremely careful with what I say, right? Even when I go in, because I'm human, and sometimes this stuff affects me, it upsets me as well, right? Even when I go and leave comments on other videos that I've seen pertaining to whatever, if I leave a comment that YouTube thinks it's inappropriate due to the fact that I'm a content creator, I get held to a higher standard. I've been hit with a couple warnings a time or two. Hey, man, basically, watch what you say or we will take your page. This is what I get, right? So I have to be extremely selective in what I say, right? But, Austin Metcalf's dad made a lot of inflammatory, disrespectful comments in relation to the entire black race, right? He said something about, your daddies are not in the home and so on and so forth. You may have some immature person who will say, well, that's why your son's no longer in the home. I mean, when people want to take this stuff and relate it to race, I honestly believe that black people, African Americans, Africans in America, whatever terminology you like to use, we have more than enough reason to be angry. And a lot of the crimes and stuff that is perpetrated on us, people tend to forget, or they're not aware of the history of horrendous treatment that black people have received, right? On this list that I quickly had compiled, right? And I may do some videos relating to this stuff. It goes back, I believe, as far as 1979. Some of these cases are horrendous, right? Some of these cases people are not familiar with. Some of the names on them, some of them are. One case on there, right, is a 10-year-old dude, Clifford Glover. I believe him and his father was walking in South Jamaica, Queens, I believe the area was. You have a unmarked police car pull up on these dudes, and some plainclothes detectives jump out on a man walking with his 10-year-old son. These two individuals fear for their life. They take off running. They shoot and kill the 10-year-old dude. Now, come on, man. How tall can a dude be at 10 years old? The officer, of course. Now, this is the 70s, way before cameras and all that. The officer says that he felt the dude was reaching for a gun and turned around and shot. Autopsy reports, all that type of stuff, whatever they do, shows this little 10-year-old was clearly shot in his back. And the officer eventually was still found not guilty. I mean, you have stuff like this continuing over and over and over. We have Oscar Grant, black dude, laying on a train platform, I believe the BART train system in Oakland, clearly on the ground. Several people videotaping this incident. The officer shoots. This dude is on the ground with his arm stretched. The officer shoots him in the back, and they found him guilty, and he gets 2 years. This dude gets 2 years in jail. He's out. Latasha Harlins, the young black girl who's in the store, accused of stealing some orange juice. She sets the orange juice on the table. She gets into an altercation with the store owner. She is walking out of the store. The lady shoots her in the back. I believe she was 13 years old. The owner of the store shoots her in the back. They find her guilty and give her 5 years probation. I mean, come on, man. This is when you understand and research and have knowledge of this type of stuff, I don't see how we as a people can continue to gang bang and kill each other when we know these type of acts are being perpetrated on us and nobody seems to care but us, right? It's crazy, man. Another situation, another incident on that list, the Archie McDuffie incident, right, which created some riots in Miami in the 70s, I believe, possibly the 80s, right? This dude is basically riding home on his motorcycle. The police get behind him. You know, the bull stuff occurs. The police beat the dude to death. They pull him over to eventually beat him to death. Maybe a pursuit may have happened. They initially try to say he died because of a motorcycle. He died because of a motorcycle wreck, right? They beat the dude in the head. He died. The autopsy reports show due to blunt force trauma. I don't know if you guys remember Janet Reno. At one point in time, she was the top cop. You know what I'm saying? That's what my boy Fox used to call the district attorney of the United States district attorney, right? Top cop. Anyway, you have some officers, Miami-Dade police officers, come and testify to these officers beating this dude because they eventually all get charged. And of course, you know, these cops now, they don't want to go to jail. So they testify. These cops testify against a couple of other cops. Still in all, they are still found not guilty, right? We have the situation with Walter, I believe his name was Walter Scott. If my memory serves me correct, the officer's last name was, I believe, was Lager or Slager. Michael Lager, I believe, Michael Slager, either or, right? He pulls this dude over, I believe it's in North Carolina. The dude jumps out the car and takes off running. At some point, him and the cop have a confrontation, a physical altercation, right, over the stun gun. The stun gun drops to the ground. The guy takes off again and starts running. The police officer pulls out the gun and shoots this dude 8 times in the back. They go to trial. This dude is clearly running away from the police. Just so happens somebody is standing by recording this on their cell phone. Initially, of course, the officer tried to lie. It all comes out. They go to trial. And in trial, they have a mistrial because they cannot find this dude guilty. Even though he shoots this dude in the back, white people on the jury were still unwilling to find an officer guilty. Now, eventually, the feds stepped in and they eventually find this dude guilty in a federal case and he gets some time in prison, right? But people fail to realize this is all the type of stuff and more black people have had to endure. Years and years and years and years, right? So, you know, you have dudes out there, man, who who dismiss these type of things for a number of reasons. A lot of them are really just not familiar with history, right, in relation to black people. I heard, I'm not even going to say his name, I heard some dumbass content creator a couple of months, and I didn't want to do a video on the dude, right, but I heard him say something in relation to basically, it was basically, oh yes, that's what it was. Black people were not on the boat when Columbus came to America. Black people were not already in America, right? This is how dumb this dude was and ignorant in relation to the to the history of black people. It is well known by anybody that has studied history that they say it was a black man who was driving, who was controlling and basically navigating the boat that Christopher Columbus was on when he didn't discover America, because black people were already here. So how can you discover something that people is already here? But that's a history and lesson for another day. But when you don't study these things, because especially in my generation, it definitely was not taught to you in the history that we learned in school. And I don't know if I'll insert it or not, but like Austin Metcalf's dad said, you guys are upset because somebody sold you to us and we brought you over here and put you to work. How he tries to gloss over that. Then he said, we had a fight to free you guys and now you guys are ungrateful. Another false history, right? The Civil War was not fought to free black people first and foremost. Abraham Lincoln states that the Civil War was fought to preserve the Union. If he could preserve the Union without freeing black people, he would. Those are statements made by Abraham Lincoln, right? His whole concern was not letting the Union separate. So if the Civil War was fought to free black people, why wasn't black people allowed to fight in that war for the first 2 years? So you basically tell me that we're going to fight to free you guys, but you guys aren't allowed to go out there, die, and to free your own self. And then if that's neither here nor there, man. A lot of you guys do not have the historical information, right? And so, of course, and if it doesn't pertain to you, you don't give a fuck. I get it, because you're not black, so this type of stuff hasn't happened to you, so it doesn't strike you the same way it would strike a black person, right? And so the whole point of me of saying all this stuff is basically, this is why you have so many black people who cannot let their anger go toward the judicial system, right? So there may have been many black people who believed O.J. Simpson was guilty. But the reason why you have so many black people rallying behind him in a situation like that is because we want to see somebody who is black finally get a fair shot in the judicial system like the white people do, right? That's just the point of it. That's just the point of it, man. You guys can talk all this crazy talk. What about the white people, right, who feel it's their duty to be on jury duty and convict somebody black, but have enough common sense just not to say it? You can say all the right things if you are a politician, because that's all politics is. It's just saying the right thing. Just like being in prison. When you go and tell another group or another person, hey, homie, it's cool, man. I don't have a problem. Just, you stay over there. I stay over there. Don't worry about it. We'll let this one go. Then 30 minutes later, they take off, get the knives and ride. All these things are political games played by people who are well versed in the knowledge of politics, right? That's all this stuff is, right? It's politics. If they called me to jury duty today, and I would never be on jury duty because it's a waste of time. I just don't want to get there. So, but I have got many jury duty summons. And the first, and I've never replied to him, but if I did, the first thing I would say is, hey man, yeah, you know what? I can be partial on the jury because, I was sent to prison. The police officers lied on me, and now I want to come and be fair. And in the event a police officer is lying on somebody else, I want to give them that benefit of the doubt. The first thing the district attorney is going to do is use his challenge. The district attorney has so many challenges to basically eliminate a person from the jury due to the fact that the district attorney must, in his argument, have the jury say, have every single juror, all 12 jurors must agree to a guilty verdict. It's on him, so he has more challenges than the public defender or your lawyer has. I believe he may have 20 dismissals. Your lawyer may only have like 10 because the lawyer, the defense attorney, only has to get one person to say not guilty, and it's a mistrial or it's a not guilty verdict. So that's why the district attorney has more eliminations of potential jurors, right? So of course, if I say something like that, then the DA in his mind, oh man, this dude he's not gonna be helpful in helping me get a conviction, and so dismiss him, right? So it's a game. You may have a white dude go up there and say, oh yes, I can be fair, I can be impartial, I can listen to everything, I can judge people fairly, I believe people have a right to a fair trial, blah, 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 blah. You can say anything with your mouth, you know what I'm saying? And then you get on the trial and you go in there with an agenda to find a person guilty. If you guys don't think that's possible, then you crazy as they come. You are as crazy as they come. How many times, even in this day and age when we got recording devices, people is mic'd up, they got cameras in there in the police car, how many times have we seen police get on these cameras and make these racial statements about black people? You have people in positions of power who, through the course of their job, are allowed to take a person's freedom away. How many times have these dudes been caught on camera making these insensitive comments, these racial comments, these police officers? And it's crazy because I did a video a while ago and I researched it. You know how many times a black officer has been caught on camera or recorded on a mic or whatever making a racial statement? One time. And you know what? The black officer said the N-word, N-I-G-G-A. So he said he lost his job for using the N-word against another black dude. So that seemed like that was a racial ploy to get rid of the dude, right? So, I mean, to me, it's mystifying why you don't catch black people making racial comments about other races black people who are in law enforcement. I mean, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people try to pretend things aren't what they are, man. And so once again, this is why you have so many black people who will rally behind Carmelo Anthony or whoever, because it's undeniable that for the longest, black people have not got a fair shot at the judicial system, regardless of what side of judicial system that they're on, man. And so, it is what it is. Here, 1 second, you have Austin Metcalf's dad talking about he wants peace and between the races and blah, and then the next second he's spewing this awful racial hatred. And so it just goes to show that it was all a fraud. He goes on to say in that video, sometimes you don't say the things you want to say. So today I'm allowing myself to say what I want to say. So really he was a racist all along. And so if the racists are in the top positions and control the judicial system and other things, then blacks are never going to get a fair shake. That's just what it is, man. That's just what it is in a nutshell. And if you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. It's because you blind, you don't want to see it, and you're not effective. You're not affected by the outcome, man. Anyway, listen, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.